We're going to start again? Yeah. A very good morning to all the viewers and the webinar team. This is A. Ram Prasad, Principal, Telangana Model School, Ramachandrapuram, Sangareddy District. I have the privilege to introduce Muhammad Hafiz, who is postgraduate teacher in political science from Telangana Model School, Ganmukla, Veenavanka Mandal, Karimnagar District. He has a vast experience in teaching. He has 20 plus years of experience in various education institutions, handling social studies for various classes. And he's associated with Telangana Model School since inception of Model Schools in 2013. He was adjudged as the best teacher in the district level in 2018. He holds a master's degree from Usman University and B.Ed. He has handled various sessions for intermediate through our Model School channels. So I look forward for a wonderful session from Muhammad Hafiz. Over to Muhammad Hafiz for his session on the topic Smart Governance, Part 1. Over to Mr. Hafiz.
Good morning, sir. Good morning to all webinar member teams and my model school staff and my beloved children of all the model schools. My name is Hafiz. Already sir has introduced me. Okay, children. And today we are going to start the lesson in this session is a smart governance. In the smart governance, we are going to run about the some topics as a part 1 lesson that is a part of our political science. So we are going to start the smart governance lesson. Children, listen carefully and follow the slides and follow my voice. Okay, children. So now we are going to start smart governance, and topics to be covered in this today's session are concept of smart governance. So very first one, we are going to learn about the concept of smart governance, then good governance, e-governance. And also we are going to learn about the Right to Information Act 2005, Lokpal, Lok Ayukta Act 2013, transparency and accountability. Okay. And last, as usual, we are going to learn about the see about the summary. Okay, so first we are going to start the concept of start governance. In this session, actually, we are going to cover our topics only concept of start governance and good governance and their stakeholders, and also characteristics of the good governance. Okay, and smart governance. First, we are going to the synopsis about the smart governance. Actually, government and governance are the two words are interchangeable. One are related to another one. Okay. So we know about the government. Government is a organization of the state. Okay. Government is everything of the state. And governance, a set of rules of the political system. Okay. Actually, government is nothing but a political system, because modern states are democratic states. Modern states are running on the democratic governments. So we have the political systems. Okay, in this political system we have the rules. Okay, and rules are preparing by the government and following by the government. Not only following by the government is making to follow all the citizens in the country. So here we are going to learn about the government and governance. Both are interchangeable terms in the most of the times in our political science. Okay, children. And actually, first we are going to see the government. Government is a formal institution of the state. Already we learn in the forms of government. Okay, in organs of the government, we learned that government is without the state will not be there, or state will not be there without the government. So government is a formal institution of the state. It is a compulsory institution of the state. Okay, and government refers to various forms of political systems which is used power. Okay, the government, actually the government will be called which is in the power in the democratic system. Okay, so government will be always in the power. It is used the political various forms of the political systems to run the government machinery. Government machinery. Already we learn in the organs of government. Government like a steering wheel of the state. Government is like a steering wheel of the state. So it is using the various forms of the political systems. Okay, which is using the power. Without the power, government cannot run anything. Okay, so the government refers to various forms of political systems which used power. And then now governance. Actually, governance is the outcome of the interaction of government with the public service. Okay, government is providing the facilities to the peoples, preparing the policies for the welfare of the citizens, preparing the programs for the welfare of the citizens. So these has to be implemented. For that, government has to prepare the some rules or to set up the some rules. Okay, to interact with the citizens. Our policy development programs should be designed and render the service to the people through the governance. So governance is the outcome of the interaction of government with the public service, policy development, program design, and service delivery. So government is completely coming out of the situation of interaction of government with the public services, with the public service, the public matters. So government dealing with the public matters with the help of governance. And the study of government in a traditional way from the since ancient period, from the Greeks, the study of government is going on in the course of time. That is in the evaluation stages, there is a lot of modifications what takes place in the study of the government. But traditionally, government is concentrated on the three organs of the government. Already we learned that government has the three organs, and the three organs are legislature, executive, and judiciary. Already we learn about their nature. Okay, already we learn about their closeness, how they are interdependent on each other. Okay, we know about that legislature is a law-making body, executive is the implementing body, which are prepared laws which are prepared by the legislature, and the legislature preparing some laws to maintain the law and order in the state. That is nothing but in the country in political science. Okay, judiciary interpret the laws while it is importing the judgments. So the study of government in traditional way completely concentrated on the three organs of government, that is legislature, executive, and judiciary. But the word governance was made very popular in the world by World Bank. Okay, children. So governance, I told that it is has some rules of the political system, that is of the government, to carry out the different programs, implement the programs, to design the programs of government. Okay, children. So these governance word made the popular in the world by the World Bank. Okay, IMF. Children, did you remember that IMF, International Monetary Fund? Okay, that is called World Bank. And World Bank made this governance very popular in the world, because through the governance, the governments are working in a perfect manner. Okay, and also there is an Oxford Dictionary, English dictionary, famous English dictionary in the world, Oxford Dictionary, given the wonderful meaning to the governance. It is saying that government is an act. Act means generally law, children. Government is a act. And here's in simple words, government, sir, governance is a manner of governing the office of a state. So governance, a systematic rule, set of rules. So is a manner of governing, maintaining the office of a state. Okay, ruling the office of the state. So governance is an act or a manner of governing the office of a state as per the Oxford Dictionary. Okay, this is a wonderful definition was given in Oxford Dictionary. Okay, and now smart governance, we are using word. Smart stands for simple, moral, accountable, responsive, and transparent. Okay, in detail in the next slides, I will explain to you. Okay, smart governance. So smart stands for simple, moral, accountable, responsive, and transparent. Nowadays, we are listening the word, the government, central government, that is the union government, introduced the one scheme, that is the smart cities for the developing with the through the plannings, developing the cities, okay, by allocating the wonderful budget. So the smart, simple, moral, accountable, responsive, and transparent, okay. And then e-governance means electronic governance. Nowadays, in this pandemic situation, most of the governments are following the e-governance. Already the Chhattisgarh state, okay, which is recently formed after the 2000, okay, the Chhattisgarh state was formed, and it is following the e-governance, that is the electronic system in the governing the offices, in maintaining the offices. So in the pandemic situation, even our Telangana state also taken the initiative to introduce the electronic governance in our government offices to avoid to transmission of this coronavirus from people to people, okay. And actually
Sir, please on your video, sir. It is not visible.
madam video ताऊ वीडियो कहाँ रहता है बेटा
Visible, ma'am.
okay madam
I'm able to see.
okay sir so e-governance originated in the 1970s in India, okay children. So e-governance introduced or originated in India in the 1970s. Then onwards we are following in the course of time some states are following, and but completely Chhattisgarh is following the e-governance system, okay children. And Aadhaar card, everyone is familiar with this. You have the Aadhaar card. Even for your scholarships, Aadhaar card is number is asking. Is it or not, children? Okay. Even for your last year intermediate admissions, Aadhaar card was asked. So it is a unique identification number. Aadhaar card is a unique identification number which is granted by the central government to every citizen of our country. Or union government introduced this Aadhaar card, unique identification number, to each and every citizen of India to provide the better services, Once if you click the one Aadhaar number regarding ourselves, means for individuals, every information about the bank accounts, okay, about the scholarships, about the admissions where you are studying, everything information will be given to provide the better services, even to provide the better schemes to the citizens. Government of India introduced the Aadhaar card, okay, and this is a unique identification number, okay, to provide the smart governance to all the people, all the people, okay. And the success of any democratic system is actually based on the partition of the people in the governance. So success of any democratic system, wherever you go, if you are in the school, if you are in the college, if you are in the society, if you are in the Gram Panchayat, if you are in the what you called your local self-government institutions, maybe your mandals or districts, wherever you go, the democratic system will be success only with the participation of the people, because in the democratic system, the people are the rulers as well as the ruled. Means the people are electing their government and they are ruling their country, ruling their state, because we are using the word state in the political science language. So they're ruling their state through the representatives in democratic system. That's why participation of the people is necessary, especially in the good governance. That's why government is making the people to involve in the governance. That is the next one is the study of Right to Information Act 2005. So most of you also have the familiar this word RTI. You know about the RTA word, than the Right to Information Act. Is it or not, children? So Right to Information Act is is there in India. Through this, people can participate in the governance, because government should maintain the everything in the perfect manner. It should be open to all the people. So whatever information, government information the people wants, they can ask to the government through the RTA, that is called as a Right to Information Act. Okay, in this, the citizen role is very understandable in this modern administration. Citizen role is vital in the modern administration through the Right to Information Act. Okay, children, and government, that is we the people. Okay, and also government seeks to provide the transparency and accountability. Transparency perfectly. Okay, without the corruption, everything should be keeping in front of the people. Okay, so the people can see this. That is the government policies, government programs. Okay, whatever the government is carried out for the welfare of the citizens, the people can know about that programs, that policies through the Right to Information Act. So government is maintaining the transparency and accountability. Accountability is very important, because the government is nothing but not only political system. There is a bureaucracy also. It means the people who are working in the government sector, there is a government officials, what we call as the public servants and civil servants. They are accountable to the people. That is means they are answerable to the people. They are answerable to the people. So we are seeking that, that is the government also, to provide the transparency and accountability to its all citizens, that we also want. Okay, and governance means changing the meaning of government. Governance means changing the meaning of government. How it can change, children? Can you expect? Government, through the policies, adopted the various activities for the welfare of the citizens, and these are implementing among the citizens through the systematic rules, that is the governance. So governance shows that changing the meaning of the government. Okay, and transparency and accountability enables the government's process to help the citizens. Not only it is making the government perfectly, and also helping the citizens to participate in the government processes. Okay, so transparency and accountability of the government in the governance process help the citizens to actively participate in the governance process. And accountability means the officials, public servants, and civil servants are accountable to the public for their decisions and actions. So public servants, government officials are there. You know about the collector, you know about the MRO, you know about the principal, you know about the teachers, and other officials in the other government activities. So all these called as the public servants are like collector, people like the collector, or joint collector, or deputy collector, additional collector. They are maybe called as a civil servants. So all these people are accountable to the public for their decisions, for their actions. Actions means for their work, children. Here, actions means not any film actor action, children. Okay, so here the people is this government people are working for the welfare of the citizens. So their actions, their works, their functions help to know about the people, through the Right to Information Act or through the other processes. So the people who are working in the government sectors, in the governance process, they are accountable to the public. And governance refers to those measures that involve setting the rules for exercise of power and settling conflicts over such rules. So governance refers, it is a referring, governance word is referred to the measures which are taken by the government involving the setting the rules. So govern already told that governance is nothing but setting of the rules. Okay, systematic setting of the rules. Okay, which are exercising by the government, through the government power. And while they are using this power, while they are using these rules, if there is a conflicts or arises, okay, in various forms of government, okay, then they will be solved through these methods which are adopted to setting the rules and regulations. Okay, and meaning of governance: to design, to formulate. Okay, so design, formulate are like interchangeable words or similar words. Okay, and these are the design and formulate, preparing the policies, making the policies for the wish of the people, as per the needs of the people, as per the wish of the people, designs and formulate the policies, and after then formulating the planning, okay, or designing the planning, these will be policies will be implement, okay, implement and discharge the functions. So while implementing, the government discharging the functions, and while discharging the functions, it brings the policies to the people, it brings the government programs to the people. Okay, and also in the government there are the stakeholders, and they are playing the vital role in the governance process. Okay, children, stakeholders are playing the wonderful role, okay, playing in the governance process of the government. Some examples like lobbies, political parties, media, civil society, legislature, executive, okay, and judiciary are referred to as a stakeholders. Some more are there. You can see the next slide. Okay, so lobbies, political parties, media, civil society, legislature, executive and judiciary are referred as a stakeholders. So you can see the here stakeholders who are playing the wonderful or key role in governance are, we can start from the executive. You can see this executive, legislature, judiciary, media, private sector, social organizations, civil society, and political parties. These are the stakeholders in governance. They are playing the key role. Okay, executive, legislature, judiciary, media, private sector, social organizations, civil society, and political parties. Okay, children, first one, executive. Can you tell me what is meant by executive? Okay, I will tell to you because you are not in front of me, I am not in front of you. Is it or not? Okay, children. So executive. Executive is law implementing body, policies implementing body, carry out the programs to the people. Okay, so executive body is playing the wonderful role in the government. It is a very important organ of the government, also playing the vital role, key role. Okay, playing the vital role and key role. Okay, and then legislature. Legislature also one more important organ of the government, which is making the laws as per the needs of the country, which are suitable to the country. Okay, according to the needs and suitable as according to the needs of the country, suitable to the country, laws will prepare by the legislature. Okay, these laws will be carried out by the executives. Not only laws, policies and programs, and the laws which are maintaining the law and order carried out by the judiciary. There's the next one, another organ of the government. Judiciary will interpret the laws while imparting the judgment, while giving the judgment in the disputes of the people between the central and the state governments, or between the different state governments. Okay, children. So judiciary is playing the key role. These are the three organs of the government which are playing the wonderful role in the system of governance. Okay, stakeholders in the governance. And media, we know about the media wonderfully. Okay, our morning, our life will begins with the media. Is it or not, children? When we are starting, wake up from the bed, we are taking our phone and seeing the social media. Is it or not? I'm not taking the names. Okay, social media. So here media is a generally electronic media and print media. Even social media is also playing the important role in the governance, because nowadays through the social medias we are getting a lot of information. So electronic media, TV channels, news channels are there. which are always bringing the wonderful news to the people 24 hours without taking the rest. Is it or not? And print media, our newspapers, daily newspapers. As a political science children, I'm giving the one suggestion to you. As a political science student, you should read the daily newspaper. You should know about the what are the happenings going on in the world, okay, or what is going on in the world. You should know about that, and that is the only simplest way is the print media, which you have to follow. Okay, so as a political science student, you should read the newspapers. So media is playing the key role in the governance because it is bringing the information of the government, it bringing the policies of the government to us, bringing the policies of the government to us, giving the information to us. Is it or not, children? Through that, we are come to know that what is happening, what the government is going to do for us. We are thinking like that. Is it or not? Okay. So media is playing the vital role. Private sectors providing the employment opportunities for the so many people. Of course, there are the organized, unorganized sectors are there. Okay, in the private sector. Yeah, that is in our economic language. Organized, unorganized sectors not providing the better salaries, but that is a different one. But private sector, corporate institutions playing the wonderful role. Okay, corporate institutions, not only education institutions, other financial institutions or whatever it may be, they are playing the wonderful role in the governance process. Okay, and social organizations, we have the so many social organizations which are helping us to know about the what is going on in our society, helping us through our organizations, because our social organization based on our India through the different ways are establishing. Okay, so I'm not going to deep about that, and but helping us because we are taking to about the one example, unions are there, they are helping us to know about what is going on in our society. Like that, social organizations are helping us. And civil society, man is a social animal living in society, so in civil society, we are people behave in a decent manner through the rules and regulations. We are playing the vital role in the governance system as a citizen of the country, as a good citizen of the country. Okay, and then political parties, we know about the political parties carry out the lot of programs for us whenever the elections are coming. Is it or not, children? The political party which is in the government, which is in the power, implementing the policies and programs, if it is a deviating from the policies and programs, then opposition parties criticizing the ruling parties, that is party in power. So all these, executive, legislature, judiciary, media, private sector, social organization, civil society, political parties playing the vital role in the as a stakeholders in governance. Through this, governance is wonderfully working. Smart governance. Smart. S for simple. M for moral. A for accountable. R for responsive. T for transparent. T for transparent. So smart, simple, moral, accountable, responsive, transparent. So smart governance is like simple, reachable to the people. And moral values, ethical values also given the importance. Government given the importance to the values of the people. And it is saying that moral values should be followed in the process of governance. Accountable, answerable to the people, making the people to know about that. Okay, and responsive. So in the smart governance, government is responsible to the people because the government is actually elected by the people itself. Because modern democratic governments. In the democracy, people are the rulers as well as the ruled. So that's why the smart governance is a responsive one to the people and transparent. Everything making to or maintain the neatly, where the people can see that directly without hiding. It open to all. Okay, so smart governance, simple, moral, accountable, responsive, transparent. S for simple, M for moral, A for accountable, R for responsive, T for transparent. So smart governance. Okay, children. And now we are going to learn about the components of smart governance. Okay, so everywhere, whatever the work we are doing, every time we are thinking about to improve our performance. Is it or not, children? Suppose in one exam which is conducted to you, you are getting the, suppose out of 20 you are getting the 12. Then in the next exam you are thinking to increase your marks to 14 or 15, or then afterwards 16 or 17, like that. Is it or not, children? So every time you will thinking about to perform in a better manner, in the same way the smart governance also, in the administration, it is taking the steps to improve the performance of administration. Okay, children. So in the smart governance, it is taking the steps to improve the improve the performance administrations. So it is enhancing the accountability, increasing the accountability, improving the accountability, improving the transparency, improving the transparency. Okay, children. So in the administration process, it is to try to enhance the accountability and transparency, and it is away from the petty politics. What we called like chiller politics, we are using the word. So this smart governance away from the petty politics, and also maintaining the greater efficiency, If accountability and transparency enhancing, automatically efficiency will increase, efficiency will enhance. Okay, children. And successful implementation, that is the administration of the public policies, accountability and transparency, efficiency are necessary. And also in the community, that society, leadership also playing the important role in the smart governance. So role of the community leadership also very vital. You can take our one honorable prime minister. He is a wonderful leader. He is wonderful leader. Okay, who always thinking about the welfare of the citizens of the country. Okay, so role of the community leadership is necessary in the smart governance. And feature role and innovation in public services. So leadership means not only maintaining the present status, even to give the importance, importance for the future role. So means planning for the future, and also innovation ideas for the future in the public services. So future role and innovation in public services, it is maintaining the wonderful and vital role. So community leadership of community leadership is very, very vital. Okay, in the innovation policies, okay, in the public services for future. And use of a wide range of services like internet, mobile, and other web-based services. So in the smart governance, we have to use the internet services, mobile services. Of course, nowadays we are using the mobile services. Okay, mobile services should be used for the benefits, not for the any other things which are causing the damage to our life. Okay, children. Okay, nowadays you have the smart classes. Okay, you are listening the classes through the mobile phones or TV channels. Is it or not? Because this is a what you called COVID-19 pandemic situation. Okay, so mobile phones was increased a lot. Is it or not, children? You are using that, but you have to use the mobile phones for your study purpose, but not playing the games and other things. Okay, children. So in the enhancing the services of administration of the smart governance, there should be use of the internet and mobile and other web-based services. Okay, so nowadays we are telecasting the lessons for you through our model school webinar channel. Is it or not, children? It is one of the web-based services. And e-governance. Regarding the e-governance, you are going to learn in the next session that will be in your tomorrow's class. Okay, in your tomorrow's class. And here there are some following institutions through the some light on the governance process in India. So through the some government institutions, through the some governmental institutions, government is making the governance process in our country. First one is National Institute of Smart Government. Okay, National Institute of Smart Government, NISG. It is located in Hyderabad. Through this, government is maintaining the smart governance. And next one is, it is important. I think you know about it. CGG. You listen this name. Where you listen this name, children? That is CGG, Center for Good Governance. While you are applying the scholarships. Yes, children? And even while you are taking the admission the last year, now you are in the second year now. So in the last year, even your admissions also through the process of CGG, Center for Good Governance. It is also in our wonderful Hyderabad. It is in our capital city. Okay, Center for Good Governance. Through the smart governance, your total, your intermediate admissions, even your hall tickets, your results are through the online system. You know about that. Even your practical exams also through the online system. So Center for Good Governance through the CGG. And also one more institution is there. It is in New Delhi, located in the New Delhi. It is the Center for Law and Governance. It is Center for the Law and Governance. So it is using the technological services along with the law in Delhi services. Okay, and good governance. Okay, up to here we learned the smart governance. Now we are going to learn the good governance. Good governance can be defined as the governance associated with the efficient and effective administration within a democratic framework. So in a democratic system, within the limits of democratic system, the governance associated with the efficient and effective administration. So here, public servants, civil servants, efficiency showing that. Okay. So the government, okay, in the good governance process, using the words which are associated with the efficient and effective administration within a democratic framework. Okay, and a definition of good governance includes the active participation of the people. Every time I'm telling to you, modern countries are democratic countries. Modern governments are democratic governments. In democracy, people are the rulers as well as ruled. In the democratic countries, people are the rulers as well as the ruled. So people's active participation is very important in the process of government. In the process of government. So a definition is telling about that not only good governance, efficient and active participation, good administration, it is also emphasizing on active participation of the people through the national governance process, state governance process, local self-government agencies. So the people active participation should be involved in the good governance process through the national politics, through the state politics, and through the local self-government agencies. Okay, so it means the people should active participate in the panchayat system, in mandal system, in Jilla Parishad system, in the state government political activities, and the national activities. Okay, children. Then good governance will become the wonderful efficiently in the world. Okay, everyone can enjoy the life here. If the good governance is good, all the people may be lead a wonderful, happy life. Okay, and here we are going to see the citizens' role and state's role. Okay, and here first one provider, then next one is a facilitator and promoter. Okay, I am going to see the slides one by one to you. Provider, facilitator, and promoter. First one, I'm going to see the providing role of the government. That is the providing role of the state. So generally, the state role is to provide the basic needs. Modern basic needs are not only food, shelter, and clothes, education, and the hospitals also. Modern basic needs. And these are fulfilling by the government. Is it or not? that is nothing but the state. Government is always nothing but the state. So government is expected to play providing role in providing the basic needs to the people. Okay, children. And here, we the people, active citizens, not passive citizen children, because our country is a democratic country. So in active citizens, complement the such a providing role by playing their part. So complement the government. So active citizens complement the government for their wonderful providing role, playing as a part of the state. And then next one is facilitator. Actually, in the strengthening the associational aspects of a society, collective citizens action is the actor. Collective citizens, okay, action is the actor. So collective citizens action is the nothing but like a actor. Generally, actors are acting in the movies, but in the society, every day we are acting. Okay, without knowing or unknowing. So here, the state complements this with the role of the citizens as a facilitator, because we are playing a role. Actor as a plays the role. For that, facility has to be provided, and here state is provide the facility as a facilitator. Okay, children. So that is a crucial to building and nurturing the collective citizens of action. So it is a crucial one to building the state. Building about the state, development of the state is nurturing the, giving the importance to collective citizens action. In enhancing the participation of the citizen, the state has to play the role and an active promoter. So third one, state as a promoter. State as a promoter. So here it is encouraging the people as a promoter to active participation. Okay, and the state will play the role as an active promoter, and by engaging themselves in the public arena as a citizen complement the promoter role of the state. So in engaging themselves as a people, engaging themselves in the public arena, the citizens appreciate the promoter role of the state, where it is providing the facilities, promoting the facilities to the people to participate in the government good governance. Okay, and here 8 characteristics of the good governance. 8 characteristics of the good governance. Here, first one, participation. Then next one, rule of law, transparency, responsiveness, conscious oriented, and equity and inclusiveness, effectiveness and efficiency, accountability. These are the 8 characteristics of good governance: participation, rule of law, transparency, responsiveness, consensus oriented, equity and inclusiveness, effectiveness and efficiency, and accountability. These are the 8 characteristics of the good governance. Now we are going to learn one by one. First one is participation. So every time I'm insisting you, I'm telling to you, this is a democratic country. Modern countries are democratic countries. Modern governments are the democratic governments. So people participation is a very vital, very important. So in the participation, in the first characteristic of the good governance, participation, public are well informed on the various public policies. So in the good governance process, that the good governance provide the facility to the people should have the awareness, should have the information about the various public policies, and public opinion can be articulated through. So public opinion can be articulated, can be taken by the government through the institutions, maybe the political institutions or governmental institutions. Okay, children. So public opinion can be taken through the governmental institutions, or maybe the political institutions or any other institutions, or through the public representatives of legislature, that is law making bodies. Here law making bodies, public legislature for central government, for union government, MPs, member of parliaments, and for legislative assemblies, member of legislative assemblies, MLAs. Okay, children. So through this, the public opinion can be articulated through the institutions or public representatives. Okay, children. And second one is rule of law. Second one is rule of law, to ensure equality of law and equal treatment to all under legal system. To ensure, to maintain to equality of law in the country, to implement the equality of law in the country, there should be equal treatment to all the citizens without discriminating the citizens based on the rich and poor, based on the religion, based on the caste, based on the gender, or maybe based on the other reasons. The people should not be discriminated. All should be treated equally before the law. That is equal treatment to all in the legal system, that is in the law system. So in the rule of law, everyone treated equally under the legal system. Hence, it is essential to create a good administrative structure. If maintained that, if equality is maintained among all the citizens, then the good governance will, one of the good governance characteristics become the good administrative structure. Okay, third one is transparency. Okay, meaning information is freely available. Okay, so meaning especially the government policies, programs, schemes, whatever it may be, that should be available to the people. Means regarding these schemes, regarding the policies, regarding the progress of the government, information freely available to the people. Not only freely available to the people, accessible to the people. The people should reach to the government through these schemes, through the policies, and based on the existing rules. Not simply again people not rush to there, people not rush to there. Okay, so through that the people should follow the existing rules. Okay, people follow the existing rules and regulations, and then transparency should be maintained. The good governance and responsiveness. Fourth characteristics of the good governance is to serve all the members of the society in limited time. To serve all the members of the society in limited time. Okay, so here government should behave in the responsive manner, and the policies and programs should reach to the people, in time. Okay, suppose government introduce the one scheme, it should be available to the people within the stipulated time. Is it or not, children? Is necessary. Okay, like that. Okay, and fifth one, consensus oriented. Consensus oriented. Consensus oriented. Community interest can be secured by building consensus among the various sections of the society. So consciousness is very important. The people, among the people, consciousness should be built, okay, by the government institutions, by the political organizations, okay, by the various NGOs, non-governmental organizations. So community interest can be secured by creating the awareness among the people, by creating the awareness among the people about the policies and the programs through the good governance, through the good governance. Okay, and sustainable human development. So existing of the human development without any problems, without any disturbances, become a reality by understanding the various components of the government, like economic, historical, cultural, not only government, about the state. So economical structure of the state, historical backgrounds of the state, cultural activities of the state, that is the traditions and customs of the society. All this should be required for the sustainable human development. And sixth one is the equity and inclusiveness. Already told that in the rule of law, all should be treated equally. This is the most important feature of the good governance. Equity and inclusiveness is the most important feature of the good governance. The most vulnerable section of the society should be given equity. Most vulnerable. Actually, our society is divided into the number of castes. As per some historical textbooks, social textbooks, as per the records of the 2001, approximately there are the 5,648 castes are there. So among them, vulnerable sections, vulnerable caste of society should be given the equity. Means especially backward classes should be get the equality, should be equality among the other caste members. Okay, so that is, and they should be included in the government processes, in the governmental processes. So that's why equity and inclusiveness is very important. Okay, and the effectiveness and efficacy, the judicious, in the judicial manner. Okay, in the judicial manner, the use of resources is based on the societal needs that require the sustainable use of natural resources and protection of the environment. So while we are using the resources, natural resources especially, we have to protect our environment. Judiciously, we are use the natural resources for our sustainable development in society. Already you learn in the 10th class. Okay, sustainable development with the equity. Okay, so this should be following the good governance. And eighth one, accountability. All organizations, including the governmental, non-governmental NGOs, I told already to you, and civil society organizations, whatever the unions, organizations are brought under accountability. Every organization should bring the accountability to the people and should maintain the transparency. Okay, and this is the very prerequisite condition for the good governance. Okay, accountability and transparency is prerequisite condition, especially to available to the people. Okay, and there are the good initiatives which are taken in our Telangana state, children, and also in our India also. So by following the both, we are that is India, and also in Telangana, we are taking the reforms in civil services in our India. Globally, change are felt by the government in the form of increasing citizens' expectations for better governance. So citizens always expecting the better governments. Okay, is it or not, children? So we want also better governance. How it will be possible? Because through the modifications in the existing rules, reform should be bring. Okay, people participation is very important. Along with the government should be bring the reforms in the existing rules, and then this can be ensured through effective service delivery, transparency, accountability of law. Okay, so in the civil services there should be reform should be required, especially these are ensured, these are guaranteed through the effective service delivery, transparency, accountability of law. And second one is the citizen charter. Wherever you are going to the government offices, there will be one board that is regarding the citizen charter. So they wrote something on that. Whenever you are visiting the government offices, try to search for the citizen charter where something is written on that. Okay, so here citizen charter is required to enhance the quality of services the government will provide with the details of the time bound activities of every ministry. So not only in the government, even in the government offices, there will be one board, and in board there will be written. Suppose if you are going for the caste certificate or income certificate, caste certificate will be issued after applying within the 8 days. Like that will be date of birth certificate will issue like that. If time bound programs will be written on the board, that is called as a citizen charter. Not only it is in the government offices, even it is in the every ministry. And third one, recommendations of the sixth pay commission. Recommendations of the sixth pay commission that is introduced by the union government, central government. A better pay package has been suggested to weed away corruption in government sector. Why I'm telling about, why are giving this word here for you? That is the sixth pay commission. It is actually for employees. Why it is for employees is required? To improve their salaries, to enhance their salaries. And if the salaries are getting increased, the government employees may not be go towards the corruption. So corruption will be eliminated from the government sectors. That is recommended by the sixth pay commission. Okay, and this sixth pay commission wonderfully brought the radical changes, radical changes in the system of the governmental organizations by enhancing the salaries and recommend not only salaries, the system of the government is recommended by the sixth pay commission. And administrative reforms, the administrative reforms committee was constituted in 2005. Okay, and this committee, administrative reforms committee, which was constituted in 2005, okay, made some suggestions to bring the transparency, accountability, and streamlining, systematic of the structure of the government, streamlining the structure of the government in the course of time. Okay, and national e-governance plans, and these are also implemented. Whenever you are visiting your collectorate complex of your district, you can see the one board NIC, National Informatics Center, or NIC Net, National Informatics Center network. Board will be there, and through this, government is following the e-governance plans, okay, in our central government organizations. Okay, and now children, summary up to this slides are in this session. Up to here, we learn about the study of the lesson. Study of the lesson enables us, making us to grasp the importance of the governance, smart governance, and good governance. So this lesson is helping us to make to understand or grasp the importance of governance, smart governance, and good governance. And good governance is vital to create and sustain an environment that fosters a strong and equitable development. So good governance is a vital for us, okay, creating us about the sustainable development with the environment. Environment importance is very essential. Okay, if the environment is damaged, our life will be the jeopardy, children. Will be in the dangerous conditions. So strong and equitable development, given the importance to equality. We also cover the components of the smart governance in this lesson, and also we cover the 8 characteristics of the good governance. So hence they become the part of the public policy choices too also. So good governance and characteristics and components became the part of the public choices too also. And this is the time to answer, children. Okay, these are you can take the screenshot, children, and note down your books. Okay, from this out of 3 questions, one will be in board exam. Mostly 5 marks question will come in board exam, which is going to be conducted in April, May 2021. Okay, so this is the time to answer. First question, what is the smart governance? Okay, then second question is what is accountability, and third one is list out the stakeholders in governance. I think it is a very easy question, sir, for you children. List out 8 stakeholders are there, easy for you. Accountability meaning we learn in the so many slides, and smart governance also we learn about the meaning, children. Okay, children, so you can take the screenshot again. This is the time to answer, that is assignment for you. What is the smart governance, what is the accountability, and list out the stakeholders, okay, in governance. Okay, children, thank you all, and thank you to all of you. Thank you to our honorable additional director garu, and also joint director garu, and webinar team principals garu, and my wonderful principal Dr. Venugopal Reddy garu, my subject coordinator Ram Prasad garu, and also the host Shailaja Madam garu. Thank you to all of you, and thank you, children. If you have any doubts, you can clarify with your wonderful teachers. Okay, thank you to all of you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Hafiz Garu. It was a wonderful session. Hope the students, which they are using in their daily life, have got a fair knowledge of the system. So hope the students will make optimum use of it. So thank you very much for the session, and certainly all the students will look forward for the subsequent session on the same topic. So, and for your services.
Sure, sir.
Have a great day to all the students, and thank you very much once again, Hafiz Garu.
Thank you, sir.